Ooh, this is a random but good one. Why Americans are tipping less and how it impacts workers? Because we all, one thing we're gonna do is debate about a tip. You got some people in the world that will tip and have no complaints about it. You got your other people that's like, why do we got to do this? Why do we got to do that? And then you got your people in between that's like, it just depends on how much it is, and they try to justify it in their own way. But yeah, let's see why Americans are tipping less.
What is going on with tipping culture?
A growing number of folks are fed up with tipping.
If I have to do something, I'm not tipping.
And the endless ways it seems they're being asked to pay extra.
Tell me why I just got frozen yogurt, which is self-serve. You do it all yourself. And at the end, there was a tipping screen for...
Yeah, I never understood this one. I never understood this one where you go up to something and you do it yourself, where they just hand you the food and they say, do you want to leave a tip? Well, I will say, I think it came from the COVID days, where they was just trying to, give the people that they did have on the payroll still a couple extra dollars, because it's like, look, we can't have you dine in, but at least we can get a couple tips through here, then, hey, it's better than nothing. Or to me also, now that I'm thinking about it, it's kind of like the tip jar, but with a tax on it. It's the tip jar, and they got a tip jar next. I can't even say it's a tip jar because they got a tip jar next to it. Damn. Yeah, I try to justify it. I can't.
What?
Even Curb Your Enthusiasm's Larry David is frustrated.
I've noticed, like in the little coffee shops, right? Yeah. If you go in and you get a croissant with a cup of coffee, there's a tip spot, right? Yeah. And it freaks people out a little bit.
And the fatigue is real.
Mm-hmm.
A new survey from Pop Menu reveals 60% say they're tired of being asked to tip for various services. And nearly the same amount feel pressured to tip. That fatigue...
Oh, that's a good one. A lot of people do feel pressured to tip. And I'm here to tell you, don't feel pressured to tip, because what they gonna do? Call the cops? Like, no. All they can do is just be mad. You can come back in there the next day and eat it again. Like, not everybody could afford to give these, like, people want to go out to eat and be able to afford it, not have to spend an extra $30, $40 on a tip because they got 5 or 6 people with them. Or, you know what I'm saying, they at a certain restaurant where it's like, we want to be able to tip by their own leisure, leave a good tip, and not feel pressure. A lot of people are pressured in the tip, and we're like, damn.
Is having an impact on the service industry, including restaurants. Fewer consumers now say they tip servers 20% or more. What's on the rise? Tipping less. Nearly a third said they tip as little as 10%.
The survey shows people want to tip less and less often. What does that tell you?
I mean, then that tells me that inflation has really worn us down over the past few years. It tells me that we were extra generous during the COVID years, and we're settling on a new normal.
Tipping has been a hot topic on the campaign trail, too.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips.
Eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
And voters in at least 2 states, Massachusetts and Arizona, will face questions about how to pay tipped workers on the ballot in November.
Call me crazy, but unless someone is serving me or seating me somewhere, I just don't feel like tips are necessary.
But for many service workers like Devin Ashby, tipping is vital.
It really is a difference between people being able to pay their rent, people putting food on their table.
She says her base pay is $1.17 at a Mexican restaurant.
What? See, and that's the crazy part, how low the pay. Like, I never understood that, like, why the pay is so low for, like, restaurant workers. And I guess they're going based off, look, if the restaurant is only making X amount per day, then we can't afford to give you that. You got, yeah, even at chain restaurants, like I don't know why they just won't put them on salary or hourly pay, like a higher hourly pay. Like, who came up with the idea of we'll keep them low on the hourly base, hourly pay, and then they can make their money back on the back end. Like, that's crazy.
In Nashville, where customers order at the counter and are automatically asked to tip.
When you realize that you have to serve yourself, or you see how easy something is done, how you're able just to kind of walk in and pick up your food, realize it's because real people put work behind it to make it that easy for you. And that's why you should tip.
And then somebody will debate and say, well, one, this not our fault the world shut down like this. Two, like, other people would say, this industry, y'all got it. Like, and I feel like each one has a valid argument. Me, I'm on the side of I'll just tip it or whatever the case may be. Well, I'll leave something in the tip jar versus like on them little screens. I'll put it to you that way. I'd rather leave something in the tip jar because at least something you get in the cash versus on the little screen.
That's a good point. That's probably something a lot of folks don't think about. Christine, if so many people are fed up with tipping, according to that survey.
But also, too, that I guess that wasn't the point of the tip. Because it's like, now that nobody's bringing me my food, I don't need to tip that. Like, the whole point of it was, I'm going to tip you because you grabbed my food, you took my order, you brought it out to me, and whatever the case, you brought me drinks. Like it's an experience when I sit down and for you to earn that tip. Versus now, people are like, no, like if all you did was bring my order out front and give it to me and tell me to tap on the screen and pay, they're trying to say you didn't do nothing because I ordered this online. You didn't even take my order. It got printed out on the screen. So everybody has their argument for this whole shit.
Right? Any options, any alternatives?
So that survey found that 61% of consumers would rather just pay a higher price. They'd just rather pay higher prices on the menu, and then that would compensate and pay
Makes
for the
sense.
wages of the workers, right? They don't want the hassle of the tipping. They just want to pay more. But, you know, some experts say, would they really? They're so fed up with inflation. If you said, okay, we're going to get rid of tips, but we're going to just raise prices, would they really pay? There's some doubt that they would really pay higher menu prices.
They're too valuable.
I think what it is too is like people don't got time to do the math. They don't got time to be surprised for like your gratuity. Like some people don't like the restaurants that add gratuity into it already, because that is one where they say, look, we already added it in there for you, so just pay that flat fee. And then people still complain about it no matter what. Like then it's the other ones where it's like you just don't know. Is it 10%, 18%, 20%? Like is it, if I have 5 or more people, it's automatically this amount gratuity. Like it's so many different things in that. So if they could just make it black and white, that'd be better, and it'll kind of eliminate all this because we're never going to stop buying food.
Valid points. Like if you don't do anything, I get why you don't want to tip. But that girl's making $1.17.
She needs
That's
the tips.
ridiculous.
She needs
and
the
also,
tips.
she needs the tips. And I think anyone who's ever worked in the food service industry is like, come on, we kill ourselves and we make very little.
One interesting thing about the survey is it found that right after COVID, we got real generous. We were tipping 40% because we felt so thankful for the people who were doing these jobs. And now, at 2 years into the inflation story, we're like, okay, now we're a little inflation wary, and so we're getting back to normal. Not necessarily getting
Everybody
cheaper
had that
and
money
stingier, but getting
at
back
that
to
point in
normal.
time.
But don't you also think there's an element of confusion? Like if you see a service charge, a delivery charge, you see all of these other charges, it's like maybe the tip's included.
And DC is in the middle of this. They have a 5-year plan to move away from tips and put it in the menu prices. So to end tipping, the whole culture in DC. And I think they're 2.5 years into it. And there is some confusion. There are service fees on the menus. People walk in, they're like, wait, I don't know if I'm supposed to tip a little bit, a lot. So it would be a real transition to move away from that.
Technology too is like puts this psychological thing where like it used to be the bill you tip. Now it's like, hi, y'all done here? Or do you want to tip me?
I know. I
I'll just be waiting.
I call it smoothie shame. You get a smoothie, they turn it around, everybody in line knows I just put zero.
I know.
You know?
Not Christine. Christine's not tipping.
Yes, no. All right, thank you.
Damn. Like, yeah, that's crazy. Typical culture is crazy. Like, that is a good point at the end. Those screens, when they put it to you, it's like, damn, like, they just put it right in your face. At least I can write on the receipt when I'm sitting down and be discreet about it, get my little couple dollars, and then dip out, and I don't got to see her face or see his face. With that, it's just like, you tap that, and they turn around, they can see that you actively said no to their face. Like, that is fucking crazy. If you think about it, that is crazy as hell. But hey, look, man, tip them people. I know it's kind of fucked up out here, inflation and everything, but look, if that's the case, go out to eat by yourself. You thought I was about to say don't go out to eat? No. The key is to go out to eat by yourself. So you know your limit. I know my limit when I go out to eat, mine is no more than $40. I'm cool with that. I'm cool with spending that little $36, $38, $33. I'm cool with that. Like, that's my little experience. You feel me? And happy hour. Go to a happy hour. People forget about that. Come on now. If you want to go out to eat, take that time. Spend that time with yourself. But on that note, I'm out. Like that like, comment that comment, tip that tip, show that love. And if you can't afford that tip, man, just stay home. Just don't go out to eat, man. Cook your own food until you can afford to go out to eat and tip. Because $1 an hour is crazy. Like, what is this, the 80s? Like, but on that note, I'm out.